From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LA with incredible great news rushing into a big afternoon about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In today's recording, we go over the push to put that MSC and other checks in that Build Back Better Act, but the lighthouse is signaling the alarm because CR for stimulus could be going to Stimulus Island before the recon. Wow. We have the incredible great news of what the Purple Power is doing to flex their muscle and get those checks into that incredible recon direct and with you from Santa Monica, California, starting right now. In today's recording, we have a lot of breaking news plus the latest details about Russia coming up as well. We're going to go over all these incredible checks, this incredible recon, then we'll get past as the President of the United States with those $15,000 of checks already in there. The set of changes that would add in an MSC on top of the third stimulus checks that already pay you about $45,000. With an offer student loan debt forgiveness right behind that, and fifth stimulus with that COLA raise happening as well. But there's a lot of other breaking news happening that impacts your wallet today, and that first one is CR for stimulus, with a major push underway to bring this to the finish line sooner rather than later, with at least one check before the recon becomes law. Then, the predictions of which I have signaled on this channel for over a week, unfortunately, are now coming to fruition as true. Vladimir Putin may be invading Russia, may be invading Ukraine, and what does that mean for your wallet? I have the latest details. Then, I had also told you that the Federal Reserve may raise interest rates sooner than later, and now we have new indications today that that rate hike could come as early as March, no less than 40 days away. Wow, that was something we did not anticipate. Then we'll be going over the big money for this recon. Rick Ronclane has been doing and not doing as the President's Chief of Staff. We have a big recording because guess what? There's a lot happening. From both Vladimir Putin, the Federal Reserve, Joe Biden, Ron Klain, Bernie, Chuck, Liz, Warren, Bird, and Coons and Casey, and me with some new flowers. Same surfboard, new flowers. But I'm excited you're here. The incredible great news about your big money. The fourth stimulus recon that Joe Biden wants to send out, and he's ready to send out. The big money with that MSC and more starts right here, right now. As a big Afternoons LA heats up from Survivor Island. No, it's called Stimulus Island. And all the incredible money going to the finish line. We're together as a family, and the excitement starts right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Here we go. That recon will finish line. So says the President of the United States. But could we get out a check sooner than that? It's CR for stimulus, and it's heating up only on LALATE in today's recording. The Senate changes across this incredible recon will be robust and bold with the addition of an MSC. What is an MSC? How much is it? Who would get it? I have all the details in today's recording as Joe Biden wants that money to go out right away. We're going to go over all these incredible checks with the $15,000 already in there. The third stimulus check's already in there. Continued again under fourth stimulus. Fifth stimulus right behind that. And that student loan debt forgiveness. But then things are getting a little bit complicated, and I'm going to break it down for you in today's recording with the predictions which I had signaled for over a month are now happening. Vladimir Putin could be invading Ukraine by the end of this month. Oh boy. Then the Federal Reserve now signaling that interest rates will get a spike as early as March. Oh man. Then inflation now causing new concern as Omicron is really taking its toll and could go into the month of February. Wow. But there's surprises across the horizon as the lighthouse is signaling the light because CR for stimulus is heating up. It's only on this channel. It's why you're part of the viewership of this channel. Get your surfboard, start running for it because we're heading to the finish line as a family together. And go into this video and right now, subscribe. You're watching LALATE, America's #3 most watched financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Evenings LA with a whole slate of programming. Evenings LA at 5 o'clock, brand new tonight. Then Evenings Countdown at 6. Holiday Home Stream Stimulus at 7. It's brand new tonight as well. And then 8 o'clock is Evenings Extra. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video, 3,000 likes. And consider becoming a member so you're part of the incredible viewership of this incredible channel. You do not want to miss that incredible newsletter, which comes out tonight. Finally, sign up for those LA alerts. A link to it is under the video's description. It's free, so you get alert from the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, and that is where we're rocking and rolling to start. In today's recording, we have so much to go over with the checks, the vote, the add-ons. We're going to go over each of them one at a time, but first we're going to start with those checks. 3 clusters, 3 add-ons, and a lot of money, at least $15,000 of checks. Let's go over each of these incredible clusters of checks, starting with the payout, at least $15,000 to start. And the first add-on, here we go. That first add-on is, the first cluster of checks starts right now with the hazard pay. 1 more year, earning income tax credit for my essential workers. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children, $800 checks for the Pell Grant recipients, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, $65 per month when you're not in school for nutrition. And then the home repairs. If you live in a low-income community, totally free. The first add-on checks come from the incredible Maxine Waters here in Southern California. She wanted to get it in there. She got it in there. And this is money for the purchase of your first home. Wow, you heard me right. And this is absolutely incredible. It's money that would be given by the federal government to the seller in your name at the time of escrow or closing of escrow. She wanted to give you $25,000. It's a little bit less. We're going to go over more of this money. Stay to the very end. We have a lot of checks in this recording. Stay to the very end. It's a jam-packed recording today with a lot of breaking news. It's totally new. Home repairs and paid leave is in the second cluster. Also, the household tax credit. Home repairs are to weatherize your home, and the paid leave is a lot of money. It is $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. It is $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. If you make $15,000 or more per year, it's $400 a week. Up to how many weeks per year? 4 weeks. So yeah, that's $5,000 to $6,000. If you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, and they have to take off from work to take you to the doctor's office, they get the check as well. So either you get a check if you work, and if you don't work, but your son or daughter takes care of you, then they get the check. The second add-on of checks comes from the illustrious Bob Casey. He got it in there, and this is free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Wow. It was a campaign promise by Joe Biden, and Bob Casey got it in there. It's absolutely incredible. Let's go into then the third cluster of checks, and boy, it's getting better by the minute. This is where we find true deliciousness. In this third cluster, we have money for seniors and free internet. So let's pull out our notes, get ready for the deliciousness, start writing now. They got in there free checks for students when in school, cheaper prescription medication. They got in there the money for the farmers, the money for the independent contractors, the free internet. Then for the seniors, 2 provisions added on the House and 3 coming from the Senate. On the House side, they got in there the Medicaid gap fix, more about that second, stay with me, and the free hearing. On the House side, dental, vision, and also lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, which is par for the course of the senators adding in checks. Lots of checks they still have to add in there. And what are those other checks they vow to add in there? You know what it is. Say it with me. It's the third add-on of checks, and it is MSC. First, what is it? Then who gets it? How much? When? Where? Advocacy, and more. We're going to go over all those incredible details starting right now. First, what is an MSC? MSC refers to multiple IRS stimulus check. It is an instrument where the check is sent out from IRS, and the M refers to monthly or multiple. It differentiates itself from the rest of the recon that has multiple checks in there. But this is the one that would come from IRS. Who gets it? The Senators, since the month of May, have told tens of thousands of viewers of this channel that everyone who got a third stimulus check will get a fourth stimulus check. Forgot who that was? I'm going to recap it with for you right now. Single individuals, $75,000 or less annual income, you get a MSC. Marry a couple, 150,000 less, double it. If that's your annual income, you get it as well. Family of four, you get it, quadruple it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you get as well. Nuances. Is it income? No. Is it taxable? No, because it ain't income. Is it offered on a state-by-state basis? No, it's national. It goes out from IRS to your wallet. So no governor can come in and say it's not going out. Now, let's go over the payment and how much it is. Those legislators since the month of May have said $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months across the board. Which then brings us to the equation or the part of the analysis with the when and the how. And there's a lot of brand news, a lot of brand new exclusive news coming up in this recording, and it's starting right now. First, the how. Over the months of 2021 into 2022, we always said the how was the recon, which formally is called the Build Back Better Act, the BBB. It's a body of legislation passed in the House in November of 2021. And now in the Senate, the Build Back Better Act, also called the Fourth Stimulus Recon, also called the Social Spending Plan, a lot of different names to it. That is where they've always vowed to add it in there. But is there another instrument they could add it into? Yes, there is. More about that in a second. But let's go back to that Build Back Better Act. Where is it? Well, it was passed in the House in November. It's now in the Senate. The senators would normally add their changes so far, but they haven't. Who said they have changes to add in there? Virtually all of them. Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer, all say they have checks to add to this recon. That's the first step. So if they haven't done it, what would it look like when they do it? They would add those checks, those changes in the Senate subcommittee. They take the body of legislation, the Fourth Stimulus Recon 2021, passed in 2021 in the House, and then take it before themselves in the Senate subcommittee. This is how thick it looks. It's a lot of pages. The importance to understand is that for a body of legislation to become a law, first it has to be passed by the House. It's done. Then it has to be passed as a bill in the Senate. That has not happened. It has to be signed into law by the president. The senators think their own way. So they don't have a Senate bill yet. All they have is a House bill. They ain't passing a House bill. They have to do their Senate version. Subcommittee first. Making changes. Everything that's in there for the House side is staying in there. They ain't removing anything. They'll beef it up, but they won't remove it. Senators add stuff in there. Senate subcommittee, okay, we add stuff in there. Ready for a vote. Senate floor. Then what happens? Senate floor passes it. 2-day vote-a-rama can add more checks into there and then sends it off to the president. Wow. So that is the how. The next part is the when. A new quote came in from the White House the last 7 days from Andrew Bates, spokesperson of the President of the United States, says the Fourth Stimulus Recon will become law very, very quickly. Referring to prior dilemmas the president has dealt with, whether it was third stimulus or other bodies of law, it says every time the president has a dilemma, he deals with it and he gets it done, and he will get it done. So the great news is the president says he's ready to send out the recon money right away once he gets through these dilemmas. But that tees up the next question. Is there a way to get the money out even sooner? And their answer is yes, in part. And that is what we call in this channel CR for Stimulus 2022. We're going to go over what CR for Stimulus 2020 was first. Then we're going to go over the impact it made. And then we're going to go over the potential of a CR for Stimulus 2022. And why, when I brought it back onto this channel exclusively last Saturday, it really heated up and has been trending on social media ever since. First, when we're talking about these checks, we're talking about the Build Back Better Act. It's on hold at the moment in the Senate. So, is there an opportunity to put a check somewhere else? There is. Let's recap. In summer of last year, 2021, I was reporting on Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin negotiating a body of legislation that was to be called the Second Stimulus Package. And it went on, and it went on. And by December 2021 last year, December 2020, December 2020, I was just exhausted with the situation. Because Nancy and Steve Mnuchin couldn't get it done by December 2020. Started negotiating that summer of 2020. By the end of 2020, I said, this is just ridiculous. One morning, I woke up with an idea. How about putting a check somewhere else? Well, there was a body of legislation looming that had a deadline. It was called the continuing resolution. What is a continuing resolution? It's a bill to fund the federal government. The federal government needs money to operate, and the continuing resolutions does it. And they do that continuing resolution quite often. Every 3 months, every 6 months, they do it quite often. And I came up one morning with the idea, why not put a stimulus check into the latest continuing resolution that was set for December 2020? And I said on air, here you go. Hashtag CR for stimulus 2020. How about we put a stimulus check in the continuing resolution because they can't get the second stimulus package done? Sound a little bit familiar to what's going on right now? It's exactly the same situation. Can't get the fourth stimulus recon done, Build Back Better Act. How about putting a stimulus check in the CR again? Well, let's go back to 2020. I knew I was going to get a yes. I knew I was going to get a no as soon as I said it on air. The yes from the viewers overwhelmingly love the idea. Put a stimulus check in the continuing resolution December 2020. Get it out and send it to people and get it that check before the holidays. I expected the no as well. Why? Because I knew exactly what they were going to say. And they said it to the point. It doesn't belong in there. I knew they were going to say that. And you know why? Because they're right. A stimulus check to you and me doesn't belong in a bill that funds the federal government. It's money to the federal government. It's not money to the American government's citizens. But I already had my answer ready. Of course it doesn't belong in there. Much of all the bills you ever pass, the stuff doesn't belong in there. And we all knew that. We all knew since the beginning of time legislators pass legislation and they put stuff in these legislations, these bills that become law, that doesn't belong in there. They were doing it during the pandemic. They had a COVID relief bill where they send money to foreign governments in Middle America, Central and Latin America, to fund the governments. Had nothing to do with COVID. They had an FBI new building. They had money for the Department of Treasury and copyrights. It had nothing to do with the COVID relief, but they always do that. So I said, put it in there. And we woke up one morning and we thought we had won. Legislators announced we're putting in stimulus in the continuing resolution. Yes. And then we listened carefully and they said, we're putting extension of unemployment benefits in there. We said, oh, that's not what we asked for. We asked for a stimulus check. Get that in there. We pushed, you push. I made the recordings. And then another morning we woke up and it was in there. A stimulus check was in the continuing resolution. It was in there, then out of there, and then it went back in there and it became history. The $600 stimulus check, which became the check that went out in December 2020, was created, envisioned, rolled out, conceptualized by me only on this channel, and the Purple Power pushed and made it a law. Well, last Saturday I said the same thing. It looks eerily similar. Fourth stimulus recon not getting done. Negotiations going on underway, not this time between Nancy and Steve Mnuchin, but now between the Joe and the Joe Manchin and Joe Biden. Can't get it done, haven't gotten it done, still heading to the edge of the finish line, on the edge of the finish line. How about we put a stimulus check into something else? Yeah, there's another continuing resolution, and it's coming up in February. And I said, why not put it in there? Do you like the idea? I asked viewers to send me a private message on social media if you like the idea. Hashtag CR4Stimulus. They did. They said they like it. Live chat, they said they like it. Social media started trending it. And that was it. The hashtag campaign, C. Charles, R. Robert, the number 4, Stimulus, STIMULUS. That's CR for stimulus, all together with the hashtag on the front of it. And tell those legislators to put a stimulus check in the continuing resolution bill, which is just a few weeks away. And viewers love it. The concept is very simple. We're not asking for $60,000 of checks. We aren't asking for MSCs in this continuing resolution because it won't fit in there. We're asking for just one check now and then coming back and taking care of everything else on that recon when you do. Get this check out now, whether it's $1,200, $1,400, $2,000, and then come back with the Build Back Better Act shortly thereafter. And viewers have resonated so well. And that is why it's important to advocate across the board. Advocacy can involve both the CR for stimulus, which I'm really saying for the first time today on this recording. I've never talked about advocating for CR for stimulus, but it makes sense to pick up the phone and advocate for it. And then also advocate for the incredible provisions in this recon that you want to stay in there. And advocacy involves picking up the phone and speaking to those legislators and telling them why you need this recon money. Whether it's the home repairs or is the MSC, pick up the phone and advocate to Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Tell them why you need this money. And your story why may be different than the month of September. If you spoke to their staffer before, ask the same staffer. Say, hey, it's me again. I want to tell you why I need this money. They need to hear from you at least once a week to ensure that they still know you need the money. And remember, you're not asking if it's in there because the there doesn't exist. We have no Senate bill just yet. So don't ask if it's there. Just say why you need it with Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. In the second half of this video, we have a lot coming up with the incredible details of each of these checks. Stay with me. I'm going to go over every single check that is in this incredible recon. Then we'll be turning to third stimulus, the big money that you can still get today. We'll be turning to the breaking news. Unfortunately, I was right again. This is unfortunate. With new indication that my predictions about Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine is really looking like it's going to potentially happen, at least as a rumor, and potentially as a true fact. We're going to go over the latest news about why this is impacting your wallet and why I thought it was going to impact your wallet across the board. Then we'll be turning back to Ron Klain and why it has impacted this recon. Bernie Sanders, his latest comments, Chuck Schumer, his latest comments, and Joe Biden's latest comments about the recon. As we go into a big second half, I'm excited you're here. This is Afternoons LALATE, and the excitement continues in 60 seconds. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now, direct from Santa Monica, California, as Afternoons LA continues with a brand new show. The Senate changes will be robust to this incredible recon that already has $15,000 of checks. Stay with me to the very end because I'm going to go over all these incredible checks in this recon. Third stimulus repeated in fourth stimulus recon with at least $45,000. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details on that. Fifth stimulus, what you need to know as well. Plus, a lot of other breaking news today as Ukraine now at issue, with Vladimir Putin potentially invading Ukraine as I predicted no less than 2 weeks ago. Federal Reserve on another front saying that interest rate spikes could come in less than 30 days away. Wow, how did that happen? Then the latest details about Ron Klain, the President's Chief of Staff, why he is impeding the fourth stimulus recon, and what does he need to change about himself. The latest on Bernie, the latest on Chuck, and the latest on your big money. It's a big afternoon. I'm excited you're here. It's a brand new recording. I'm excited you're here on Stimulus Island. Stimulus Island. You know, it's that new reality show where you're voted off if you don't have an MSC ready to give your competitors. Those details and more as we go into a big second half. I'm excited you're here, but first go into this video and subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Sign up for those LA alerts so you do not miss a video across the board. And also subscribe. You're watching LALATE, America's #3 most watched financial news channel in America. Thank you for all the incredible subscriber growth in the last few days. We are on fire. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And here we go as we go into the big second half of today's recording of The Lighthouse is Lit, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And we got a lot to go over with. We're going to go over everything very quickly because there is so much, and they're going to go right into those incredible checks. First, what I want you to know is that the issue of Ukraine and Vladimir Putin is real. I had told you that financial markets will be impacted dramatically if my predictions were correct, and sadly, my predictions are correct. Vladimir Putin has been negotiating over his potential invasion of Ukraine with foreign countries in the last 48 hours, and is now not looking any better. This is important for your wallet because Ukraine is a big source of oil. Gasoline would be impacted. Your money supply would be impacted. The financial markets already took a dive today. What was I telling viewers of this channel no less than 7 days ago? That if the rumor of Vladimir Putin and Russia invading Ukraine manifests itself, then financial markets would take a dive, even if the rumor is a fake rumor. And what do we know right now? At the time of this recording, crisis talks are continuing as the U.S. Department of Defense has said that 8,500 American troops are now on orders, awaiting orders, to be deployed to the area if Russia does invade. This is breaking news minutes ago, folks. And that these U.S. troops would be part of a, quote, NATO response force if activated. The whole NATO response force will be 40,000 in robust, says a NATO statement obtained by LA minutes ago, to provide rapid military response to emerging crisis. The Pentagon's press secretary says that this would deter aggression, enhance ability. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has a place of range of many actions across the board, and UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson has warned that Russia better not do this or will face a painful, violent, and bloody business and a disastrous step. So, what does this mean for you? It's just really bad news. It's really bad news because even the rumor of Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine could cause the markets to crash, and they were down dramatically earlier today and came back. It all impacts so much. Gasoline at the pump could be impacted. Price of goods could be impacted, even if it never manifests itself. And guess what? I'm going to be on top of the story of you folks, but I want to warn you. At the time of this recording, many people are predicting this could go on for at least 2 months before we know whether the rumor is reality or not. So this is not something that's going to fix itself potentially in 24 hours. We could be talking about this storyline for upwards of 2 months. All right, that's number one. Number two. Federal Reserve announced today, minutes ago, that an interest rate spike will happen in the month of March. I mean, this is really shocking. Interest rate spikes means that the borrowing costs you more. If you have credit card debt, the credit card debt would be more. If you have student loan debt, the debt would be more. This is big because we thought it would be further out. Remember, they're tapering first, then they're doing the raise of the spike. It would impact the markets as well. But so far, markets believe that they were expecting the interest rate spike to come in March. I wasn't. I thought it would be a little bit further out, like May. But that's number two. Number three, the President of the United States and here we go to some good news. The President of the United States and his spokesperson, Andrew Bates, says, fourth stimulus recon will get passed. Don't worry about it. Chuck Schumer saying that the fourth stimulus recon will go for a vote shortly. And Bernie Sanders talking about the situation of the last week. Very fascinating quote. He says, what we did last week as a Democrat caucus was great. Do you agree? Jump in the live chat right now. I'm going to tell you what he said. I want to see if you agree or not. I think you're going to say yes because you said before you agree. He said it's better to call the vote than not call the vote. Last week was the Voting Rights Initiative and also the Senate rules changes. Both of them failed. But he says better call the vote because two things come out of it good. I think there's actually three. The first one is you see which Democrats are against it. Number two, it really puts the Republicans on defense because now they have a record that they vote against something to help you. I said there's a third reason it helps you because you can ultimately recall the vote again after you figure out how to fix it. So this all tees up something great for the recon because remember, all those months of that recon, they didn't want to call a vote because they thought it would fail. Better just to call the vote, and if it fails, then you know who voted against it, and then you just come in and say, okay, I'm changing the provisions, and we're going to fix it across the board. It works really well. Agree? Jump in the live chat. I want to hear your comments. Which brings us to really one issue, which is still not fixed as of today. I first covered it last weekend on this channel. His name, Ron Klain. It's Klain. He's the president chief of staff, and he's really causing a big problem for the recon, your Forced Stimulus Recon, your Build Back Better Act, for a series of reasons, no less than three. Let's go over it. And viewers have really not taken good to the news of what Klain's doing, and I didn't expect you to. It's no bueno. Number one, it says the Ron Klain, as the president's chief of staff, has not prioritized which bodies of legislation the president should do first before another. Well, he wanted to do climate. Guess what? All that time spent on climate of 2021, you got nothing to show for, Mr. President. You got nothing to show for because you spent so much time on climate, and climate was not a sense of urgency. Number two, the provisions of bodies of legislations done before this were not urgent. This is urgent. Forced Stimulus Recon. Number three, the provisions of the Forced Stimulus Recon, some of which were very controversial on this channel when I first debuted them, are still controversial because many viewers think that those provisions are for people who are not here. I do not mean UFOs. I do not mean UFOs. I mean, people are not amongst us. Do you mean the afterlife people? No, I mean people who are not born yet. They're literally not born yet. His name, Brian Deasy. His university, yeah, we're already at two negatives here. So, what does he want? Brian Deasy wants fortunes, billions of dollars to be given to unborn children so that their future education is great. That's nice. Can we first take care of the people who are actually here on this planet, paying taxes, working or not working, retired or on disabilities? Can we first take care of them before we start taking care of people who are not around yet? They're not in incubation. They're not in vitro. They're just not here. And they're not showing up to the dinner party in the next 10 minutes either. So can we please prioritize? All right. That I don't think is a problem. I don't think prioritizing with Ron Klain is a problem because all it takes is the president walking into Ron Klain's office and say, "What is this on your desk here, Ron? Throw this away. We're not doing this." That's all it takes, and we're done. The problem with Ron Klain is a personality conflict. I don't know where it came from. And I got to tell you, it's not Joe Biden. This is Ron Klain. When Joe Biden was clearly the candidate for the Democratic caucus for president, he was understood as a moderate Democrat, middle of the road, works both sides of the Democrat caucus, progressive, moderate Democrats, would also be bipartisan, would reach out to Republicans as well. When he won the office of presidency, he had a press announcement and repeated that press announcement many times thereafter, that he's going to work with Republicans. He's going to work with both sides of the aisle. Okay, that's Joe Biden. It's always been Joe Biden, his entire political career. Who is Ron Klain? Ron Klain has turned himself into Bernie Sanders 2.0, but in a really bad way. Bernie Sanders can work with anyone. You know that from last year. He worked with Josh Hawley because there was a point in which the two got along on a particular subject matter. Ron Klain? No. Ron Klain has turned into the most progressive Democratic chief of staff we've ever seen. And that works if you have a lot of senators controlling the Senate who are Democrats. You don't. It works if you don't need any moderate Democrats. You do. And it works if every moderate Democrat to support you. And you don't. So why would you even do this? It makes no sense. I equated it to the store's general manager. General store's manager, he has to be supportive of all the employees. But imagine if you're supportive of one part of the employees and the other part you go after. Go after them. You're not only not supportive, you go after them. That's what Ron Klain has done. He is receiving phone calls from Pramila Jayapal, head of the Progressive Caucus of the House, on a daily basis, according to her, for an hour, a couple hours every day, chatting away. How's your hair? Good. Your hair looks great, Ron. Did you go to that soup and salad buffet yesterday? I did. It was great, Pamela. Ron? Yeah. Who? What? Ron, you have Joe Manchin on line one. Oh, tell that guy I'm not answering his phone calls. Hey, Pamela, I'm back on the phone with you. How's the lunch? That's what's going on. He's not taking phone calls from the moderate Democrats. He's actually doing something worse. Put Prema on the hold for 1 second. Yeah, after I get off the phone with Prema, I want a press release going out that's saying how horrible Joe Manchin is and send it to all the major networks. Okay, have that ready for me in like 10 minutes. That's what he's doing. He's not only not taking Joe Manchin's phone calls, he's going after Joe Manchin throughout the entire month of December. with press statement saying how horrible Joe Manchin is. Look good? Not a good look. I don't know who taught Ron Klain this way to lead. It was not Nancy Pelosi. I want Nancy Pelosi just to walk into the White House and just sort of shake Ron Klain and say, this is not how you do things. One way Nancy Pelosi teaches us how to lead is you always work on perceptions. She's very big on perceptions. And perceptions work. Why? Because we're in a digital age. There's print, there's me, there's people reporting on stuff all the time. And you have to show the perception works. The perception is this guy is isolating people. Ron Klain is isolating people. He's first isolating the moderate Democrats. Then he's isolating the Republicans, the next group. Number 3, he's showing that it's moderate Democrats versus progressive Democrats fighting each other in the White House. Nancy would never do this. She would never do this. Nancy Pelosi would bring you to a WWE fight and say, they get along really well, don't they? They're just such a happy bunch of people that love and hug. And like, Nancy, that's not a hug, that's a chokehold. But they're hugging people. That's how Nancy leads. And guess what? That works. It always works. Even if it's sometimes very false. They're not hugging in this WWE fight. They're in a chokehold. Oh, he's taking him for a walk. No, he's not taking him for a walk. He's throwing him out of the ring, Nancy. He's throwing him out of the ring and trying to, land in Landon McMahon's seat. Her perception approaches work. This guy, Ron Klain, is really not dealing with the situation well. The last part is that he's isolating the president, isolating himself. And that can get fixed. But all this has to be fixed right away. And guess what the President of the United States says? The President of the United States says, and I can't believe I'm saying this, because it's unusual. It's very, very unusual. The President of the United States, next part I'm going to say is very unusual. The President of the United States late last week said, I want non-politicians, outsiders, to give their input into how the country should be run. So reach out to me. I want you to be part of the equation. Anyone have an extra horse and buggy? Do you drive a horse and buggy? Put me, or you drive a stagecoach. You have an extra stagecoach? Put me in the back of a stagecoach and drive me across the country. I'll be there by July. Whatever year this is. You're watching this video in 1622. Yeah, put me in the stagecoach and bring me to D.C. I will go talk to Joseph Biden and we'll ride it with a plume. He wants to hear from outsiders. I think this is weird. I think it's weird because he's basically saying we as a White House are not being heard and we're not hearing you and we need to hear more from you. The president shouldn't be saying that. He should be saying, I'm firing Ron Klain. The president should be saying, I'm firing Ron Klain because I should be hearing from the American people. Instead, Ron Klain has isolated me and Ron Klain is not dealing with the situation. President wants to hear from outsiders. Here I am. My name is LALATE. First, to start with firing Ron Klain so you can hear from the outsiders on a regular basis. Let's go over all these incredible checks of this recon one at a time. We have a lot of checks in this recon, and boy, it's a big recording. So I'm going to zoom through these checks because there is so much and because the running time is so long in today's recording. We have in there tax break check, $72,500 of what you can deduct and state and local taxes on the federal tax return, raising the SALT cap up from $10,000 under the Trump administration. Cheaper prescription medication, growing it from 20 medications at year 1 to 30 medications year 2028. The most expensive medications, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, and also arthritis. $40 billion of free job training in there for people who need a new job, like Ron Klain. They got in there housing assistance, which I'll cut to in a second. They got a lot of provisions from third service continuing, which are like the CTC, the child tax credit, the hazard pay, the earned income tax credit, the household tax credit. A lot of provisions from third service continued across the board. All those provisions that Ron Wyden, Bernie, Liz Warren vowed to add in there still need to be added in there across the board. But when we turn to the housing, that's where the big money is. I want to go over that big money right with you. I zoomed over in the recordings yesterday, so I want to go over it more in depth today. If you're watching this video for the first time, you've just found this channel for the first time, welcome. I want you to know that there's money available for you today. And that money is available from third stimulus, which is still paying out. It is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. If you're a member of this channel, pull out the newsletter, follow along with me right now. If you're not, consider becoming a member. If you're not still a member, just take notes. We're going to go over this money right now. Third stimulus became a law in January 2021, approximately. As soon as it became law, I said I can get you about $15,000 from it. Other people were saying there's a $1,400 stimulus check in there. I said, sure there is, but you're missing the big money in the recon. It's about $15,000. The average viewer of this channel did not get $15,000. They got $45,000 when it became law in spring of last year. They listened to me last summer. They got an additional round. Additional round means they went back and asked for more money. They got more money thereafter. Then, in December 2021, no less than 30 days ago, I said to get another round, and viewers did. They got on average about $15,000. So, what are we getting this money for? Let's go over the money right now. First, we're going to get rent. Where do you get it? You ready? Here we go. 6 places. Reach out to City Hall, City House Authority, County Hall, County House Authority, State Hall, and State House Authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. 3 musts you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. Number 2, you must get application files at many places as possible, and you must do multiple rounds. More about those multiple rounds in a second. Utility assistance. Reach out to utility companies, all of them, and then get that utility assistance because of COVID. Next, SNAP. Get it from Department of Agriculture. It raises your benefits. It is money for food, and the eligibility is like a third stimulus. Get it today. Which brings us then back to these rounds of money. What is a round? A round is how many months of coverage benefits you get. So the viewers who got December last month, they may have gotten November, December, January. Well, as you're watching this video now in January, I want you to get that rent out as far as possible. Shoot for May. Can't get May, then do April. Can't do April, then do March. You do the same thing for utility assistance and more. Then listen to what I always cover on this channel for Nisi Art Sullivan. They showed viewers that you should get 3 items or more. Viewers have gotten a lot of money from third stimulus, and you can still get it across the board. The other 2 items for third stimulus that are in fourth stimulus recon that are brand new are home repairs if you live in a low community, and also weatherize your home. Student loan debt forgiveness. There's a $10,000 offer on the table for that student loan debt forgiveness. The Democrats should take it. And then what about that fifth stimulus? Fifth stimulus is heating up with a offer to do it in January. Will they start getting it done? Because people are wondering, when are they starting that fifth stimulus? It's to raise your benefits up one big time, then remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty, and then apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. The new benchmark would be tied to inflation, which I predicted was going to be 8%. I made that prediction in spring of 2021. Well, it was announced last Friday where to come in at 7.5%. I hit it right on the money. At 7.5%, that means that inflation rate will not be potentially temporary this month. How do you determine this as well? I'm going to show you how you do it right in this recording starting right now. Look at the price of milk and eggs at your local supermarket that you buy every week. Remember the brand, remember the quantity, and remember the location of where you buy it. Make a mental note of how much one item costs. If the eggs were $2 last week, this week are $2.10, next week is $2.20. Same eggs, same amount, same quantity, same market. That's real inflation before I report it to you. And if that inflation is there, that shows you where our inflation is going. You'll be able to see the inflation yourself before I can even report it to you in about 2 weeks from now. Now, inflation is composed of more than just consumer staples like groceries. But if you see the groceries going up 10% in the month of January, for example, then you know that inflation is not temporary. It's not transitory. It's still high this month after 8% last month as well. Then, what else to know about? Well, the issue about this Vladimir Putin Ukraine situation is really troubling. I can't tell you that I can't recall in the history of this channel where there's 3 major events all happening at the same time that impact your economic pocketbook, impact your economic future. And none of them are good. And they're all happening at the same time. 1, Vladimir Putin with a threat of invading Ukraine. It's very, very bad news. It's just very, very bad news. Even if you don't live in Ukraine, even if you don't know where Ukraine is, even if you don't know why he's invading it, it could impact your daily bills very, very quickly. Number two, inflation. Omicron is taking 20 to 40% of businesses' employees out because they're sick. And until Omicron settles down, that's going to continue. And as it continues, the consumer will take the financial burden of it. Why? The business will have to have employees cover for the people who are sick out, and will do that by spending more money on labor. By spending more money on labor, the business is not going to eat it. They're going to change the cost of the products they're selling or the goods they're providing, raise it up. So suddenly the milk won't be $2, it'll be $2.10 because they had Omicron hitting their staff. Troubling. Number three, Federal Reserve. We always knew the Federal Reserve was going to raise interest rates, and I always said it was going to be early in 2022. I didn't expect it in March. I was hoping it was going to be May. And I was hoping that the Federal Reserve was going to see that Omicron is an issue and that Vladimir Putin is an issue. It's not. So the Federal Reserve today said, get ready for interest rate spikes in March, 2 months away from now. It's a lot to digest, folks. It's a lot to digest. Now, it's not bad news, but it's a lot on a plate. And you got to put it there and say, this is all really caused by or to fix or will impact inflation. What if you suddenly have 1, 2, 3 things happening at the same time? Let me make this very simple. If we're looking at November, pre-Omicron, well, Omicron's October. Let's look at October. October, we had inflation. We didn't have Vladimir Putin. We didn't have Omicron. And we didn't have interest rate spikes. We just had inflation. It was just then Federal Reserve raised interest rates. Okay, got it. But now we have Omicron inflation. Now we have Vladimir Putin problems. Now we have social spending slowing, not the bill, but the social spending slowing. So it's a lot to digest. I don't know what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of potential major pivoting in the next 2 weeks. If there was ever a time for you to take out that pen and paper and follow along and make notes, it's now. Because and if there's ever time to really pay really close attention to that loaf of bread at the supermarket, it's now. Because there are so many things that have suddenly 1, 2, 3 happen in just a few days. The Vladimir Putin thing I've been covering on this channel for over a week, but the impact of it is now starting to hit in the last 48 hours. The Federal Reserve, that announcement is last 12 hours. These things are very, very quick, and they're happening in just a very short period of time. It's a lot. And I don't know the impact of it. All I can tell you are my predictions across the board. Coming up next is Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. Then we have a whole suite of shows tonight. We have brand new Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. We have Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock. We have Home Stream Stimulus tonight, which is brand new. And then at 8 o'clock, Evenings Extra. All those big shows as well. Coming up tonight, I'm excited you're here. But first, I want you to subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. Thank you for all your incredible comments and questions across the board. Remember to advocate. Go on social media, CR for Stimulus. Advocate with those legislators for CR for Stimulus as well. Keep yourself on point. Keep yourself on message. Keep on focusing. And stay here, because it's on days like this where the news is so overwhelming and there is so much happening. It's a lot to digest, and hopefully I made it clear for you. Look forward to seeing you next on Evenings LA. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.